Today we'll try to cover up the remaining few sentences which have been going on for a long, long time, you see. So what we'll do is we'll cover these 7 or 8 sentences today. That will be 9th talk today. And next Saturday we'll kind of take a summary of the entire section, right from the beginning till the end today. We'll take an entire summary of the whole thing to get a kind of a total picture of the whole thing. And then we'll move on to the next section. This we had already seen last time. All grew a consecration and a rite. Here was a vibrant link between earth and heaven. The wide-winged hymn of a great priestly wind arose and fell upon the outer hill. The high boughs spread in a revealing sky. Now, this is the invocation, this is the prayer, this is the desire of the world for the coming of the avatar. Avatar needs an invitation, needs a supplication. When that prayer goes to him, then only he takes birth. So this is the Vedic yajna which is offered as a kind of a prayer for the coming of the avatar. Yajna is not only a prayer. Yajna is something more than a prayer. Yajna is also the preparation of the necessary ground for the arrival of the word. Prayer is okay, but then you have to have a ground ready for the arrival of the thing. So, in that sense, yajna is something richer than a prayer, you see. And it is because of this yajna that Earth's soul is sort of ready now to receive the divine incarnation, divine presence. Things are happening here. Now, as we shall be seeing also shortly, this is, in my reading, in my perception, a transition between Satya Yuga and Treta Yuga. In the Puranic cycles of yugas, this is a transition which is taking place between the Satya Yuga and the Treta Yuga. In the Satya Yuga, as I told you, there are 4 avatars: fish, then tortoise, then boar, and then half lion, half man, Narasimhan. So they happen in the first Yuga. Now in the second Yuga, that is Treta Yuga, we have got 3 avatars: Vamana, then Parashurama, and Rama. So this is a transition corresponding to this from animal life to half animal, half man life, which is taking place in the history of evolution. And in that sense, it is very appropriate that this transition is taking place corresponding to what we have been seeing now just now. Today is Ramanavami, the birthday of Rama, you see, and it corresponds to that, the arrival of man proper. That is what marks the arrival of Rama, the avatarhood of Rama. Rama's avatarhood means that. And it is at this point of the avatarhood, when things are kind of ready, that Savitri awakes among these tribes. So the first appearance of Savitri is actually corresponding to the presence of Rama as avatar. Historically, spiritually, from the occult point of view, that is a great, great significance. It has become a religion later on and other things happened, which is a different story. But from the occult point of view, it's a very great event that man proper has arrived on the evolutionary scene, and when man proper arrives on the evolutionary scene, Savitri awakes. Savitri has been there all along, but she awakes to her mission. and things are carried forward. So this yajna, air was a vibrant link, is corresponding to that avatarhood of Rama in a way, so to say, and then things start moving forward, you see. The moment that yajna is done, now under what conditions is this yajna done? Here, where our half-lit ignorance skirts the gulfs on the dumb bosom of the ambiguous earth, here, where one knows not even the step in front, and truth has her throne and the shadowy back of doubt, here, where on half-lit ignorance means the mental perception, the arrival of mind. That is half-lit. Half-lit ignorance means mind. And Manomaya Purusha, you can say, it is the arrival of that thing. So this transition is exactly at that point taking place, you see, the arrival of man proper, you see. Half-lit ignorance, dumb bosom of the ambiguous earth, where one knows not even the step in front. Well, that is the character of mind, because it is half-lit, you see. And truth has her throne and the shadowy back of doubt. So, as I told you last time, truth has her throne. Every truth is here wearing a doubt on her head, a turban with doubt, as you said, turban with doubt. That is the character of this particular stage. On this anguished and precarious field of toil, the Kurukshetra of life, the battleground of life, it is here. What is happening? Outstretched beneath some large indifferent gaze, impartial witness to our joy and wail, our prostrate soil bore the awakening ray. So, in spite of these conditions, half-lit ignorance, doubting mind, precarious condition of toil and grief and all that, in spite of that, it is this soil which is receiving the awakening ray. That is the power of the yajna. What is the awakening ray? The arrival of this mental being, of the avatar proper himself now seen. Here too, the vision and prophetic gleam. So this is the description of the arrival of the avatar. But in what condition? See, the vision had come and stood on life's thin border. The ambassadress was there, the glow was there, she was standing on life's thin border. Here too, the vision and prophetic gleam. Now, she has been doing everywhere, spreading her message, spreading her light, spreading her beauty, spreading her joy everywhere. But here too also, under these conditions of dumb, ambiguous earth, impartial, ambiguous earth, where there is doubt and all that thing, even in spite of this thing, earth is under these conditions, yet the vision is able to work out a miracle here. Here too, the vision and the prophetic gleam lit into miracles, common, meaningless shame. Then the divine afflatus spent withdrew, unwanted, wedding in a mortal's ring. Now this is a difficult stage. The ambassadress has come. She has delivered the message. The vision was standing there on the life's thin border. She has lit into miracle common. What is the miracle she has done? That the awakening ray has been kind of seeded in the earth consciousness. The aura casts its seed in this condition and things are moving. That is the miracle she has done in spite of the difficulties of this one here. But she had come here with a very specific kind of a purpose. She had a very specific brief, and it is that she was going to deliver. Then the divine afflatus, the divine inspiration, the divine command, the divine order It is that afflatus, you see. Afflatus is normally used in the sense of, let me say exactly what the divine, afflatus, divine communication of knowledge. Divine communication of knowledge. That is what she has done. The ambassadress, she has delivered the message. Now, once the message is delivered, that means she has done her job. So, therefore, spent. The divine afflatus spent. She has done her job. And now she is going back. Going back for what? To report to the one who has sent her here as an ambassador. Yes, this has been achieved. And now things have to be taken forward. And if things have to go forward, then it is necessary that divine incarnates himself and carries out the work further. Unwanted, fading, unwanted because for a full acceptance of the divine presence, the earth conditions are not ready. It is lit with half-lit ignorance only, and therefore there is that lack of want for the divine to come here, fading from the mortal's range. So she is coming from the immortal world, she is going back to the immortal world. She is coming, standing on the verge there. She has not entered into mortality at all. She has not entered into mortality. On life's thin border, she has not entered into mortality at all. So from there, she is going back now here. Now, what it means is that, the suggestion here is that, look, this is not going to happen, this is not going to do, that I come here and do things from above as an immortal. It is necessary that the divine incarnates himself in the mortal world. He steps into the mortal world, then only things can happen further, things can move forward. Unwanted fading from the mortal's range. So the mortal's range is not just a poetic phrase, it has the occult connotation that if things have to move forward, then you have to step into the world of mortal, into the world of mortality, and then only things can move forward. Now, how that is going to happen? Who is going to do that thing? It is the divine who will step into the mortal world as an avatar. That is the first thing. The prayer, the invocation, the yajna was for the coming of the avatar. And it is the avatar who has to step into the mortal world. He comes here and then he prepares the ground for the arrival of the divine Shakti. Then she comes as Savitri. That is what is going to happen. He comes here first as Ashwapati. He prepares the ground. He does yoga tapasya here in the field of earth. And when things are ready here, because things were not ready here, things were unwanted, she had to go back. If she is to be wanted, that condition can be fulfilled only by his yoga tapasya. He has to come down here, do the yoga tapasya, invoke her, bring down her presence, and then she carries on her work. A sacred yearning lingered in this place. She came and now she is going back. But then there is that yearning is still there, that want is there, that little aspiration is there, because the awakening ray has been cast in this field here. Lingered in this train, the worship of a presence and a power too perfect to be held by death-bound hand, the patience of a marvelous birth to come, the patience of a marvelous birth. That is the yearning. It is already there in the soul of man now. It is already there, lingered in history. The worship of a presence and a power, both are required. The divine as Sat being and divine as Sat Shakti, both of them are required, power and Shakti. Ishvara and Ishwari, they had to come here. It is the worship of them together, and it is by their coming together, there is going to be the marvelous birth. There is going to be marvelous birth. There is that little idea, inkling, that hint, that suggestion is there. that the birth is going to occur now, you see. It's going to be there soon, you see. Too perfect to be held, but it found hard. The prescience of a marvelous birth to come. Now, one may not be fully aware of what is going to happen, but there is some kind of a perception there that great things are going to be there now. Now, for the birth to take place, as I said, the yoga tapasya is required, and that is being done by the Divine Himself. Now, for the Divine's arrival here, there has to be, of course, the prayer from there, but a large period of time is required to prepare the ground for His coming here. 1,000 years are required for the birth of the Divine to occur on earth here. Over a period of 1,000 years, the ground has to be prepared, time has to be prepared, you see. Well, in the present case also, I think it is more than 1,000 years that the divine incarnation has taken place, starting from Priam in the Battle of Troy, Augustus Caesar, Leonardo da Vinci. All these are the preparation for the fuller avatarhood of the Divine. So the preparation goes on over a long period of time here, and bit by bit, by vibhutis, things are built up, and when the ground is ready, then the avatar comes here. In a certain sense, for the higher manifestation of the spiritual light, it was necessary at this stage to have materialism developed to its fullest capacity, materialism of science. You see, after Renaissance, the wave of materialism which swept mankind was a necessary preparation that a solid ground is prepared for the avatarhood. And therefore, that was kind of allowed to happen. It happened that way. So that is how the preparation goes on in the course of time before the avatar actually appears on the earth, you see. So it is not on 15th August 1872 that the avatar appears. The avatar starts appearing almost 2,000 years prior to that, slowly, you see. And then things are built up, you see. That is the prescience of a marvelous particle. Very few have that idea that, well, this is the preparation for that kind of a thing, you see. The prescience of a marvelous bird to come. Only a little the godlike can stay. Spiritual beauty illuminating human sight, lines with his passion and mystery, matters small, and squanders eternity on a beat of time. Yes, she comes here, the vision comes, the ambassadors come here, she throws her light all along. Spiritual beauty illuminating human sight. You see, beauty is illuminating sight. A new kind of a vision enters into man's perception, you see. Lines with his passion and mystery, matters small. The mask of matter which has been put here, it is that which gets now the illumination. It receives the spiritual beauty itself, you see. In fact, the material creation, as we witness today, is a very beautiful creation, very marvelous creation. The gigantism and the architectural designs and all that thing, there's something wonderful. You see, well, it started with Renaissance, but the recent time, the entire architecture has taken a new dimension out of it. The possibilities of matter manifesting in different forms of beauty, it is that which is coming into prominence here, you see. Spiritual beauty, illuminating human sight, lines with his passion and mystery, matters mask. You have put on the mask of matter. Mask of matter is there. In other words, even the physical body will start getting ready to receive the spiritual beauty and squanders eternity on a beat of time. Who squandered that? Beauty. Beauty. And squanders beauty on a beat of time. So all that she has got, well, that is what it means. She has come here, she has done her job, she has gone back. So she has squandered, she has spent herself fully. And now she is going back, you see. The ambassadress, unwanted, spent, she has gone back now, you see. And squanders eternity on a beat of time. As when the soul draws near the sill of birth, adjoining mortal time to timelessness, a spark of deity lost in matter script. Its luster vanishes in the inconscient plane, that transitory glow of magic fire, so now dissolved in bright, accustomed air. So now dissolved, what? That beauty. The one who had come, she had disappeared here. As when a soul draws near the sill of birth, the soul, when it takes the birth from the world of immortality, it steps into mortality. So the threshold is to be crossed and it takes here birth. In that manner, the spark of deity, what is the spark of deity? That beauty, that ambassadress, that vision. See, they are all equivalent terms, you see, as we have seen. Here it has become a spark of deity, lost in matter script. Again, you see, the entire emphasis of this avatarhood is on matter. On matter. It has to be not in the vital, not in the prana, but in the anna, in the material world creation itself, you see. A spark of deity lost in matter script. Yes.
Spark could be the psychic being, no?
Spark is the divine spark, divine Agni.
Psychic being.
Divine Agni.
Huh?
Divine Agni.
Divine Agni?
Huh?
Not psychic?
Huh?
Psychic spark.
Well, it's the divine Agni, yes. Yeah. Spark of deity, you see, he says. Spark of deity lost in matter script. Well, this is exactly what happened, as the mother has described in great detail, what happened on 29 February 1956. The supramental light and force came down upon earth. She took a mighty golden hammer in her hand, smashed the door, and as a flood, supramental light and force rushed into the subtle physical earth. And the moment that happened, it got kind of lost in the inconscience. It has entered into the depths of inconscience, and it is from there now it is rising up. So it is this one, deity lost in matter script, the supramental light and force which came on 29 February 1956. It is now living there in the inconscience, there you see, and working out now from that point onward. Now see how prophetic these utterances of Savitri are. This line was written around 1944, earlier than that in fact, earlier than 1944, that it has come and it got lost in matter. And exactly the same thing happened on 29 February 1956. In another 12 years, you see. So he has already seen all those things there, and that is exactly what happened there, you see. The mother has described that thing in great detail, how the light and force came and got submerged in the inconscience, you see. A spark of deity. So this sill of birth, you see, this is what has happened, you see. Its luster vanishes in the inconscient planes. In the inconscient planes. Where it is, we don't know. Inconscient planes, you see, there are the vital inconscience, material inconscience, all those things are there. Where it got lost, I don't know. That transitory glow of magic fire, magic fire, that spark, they are the same. Magic fire. Here he calls magic fire. The mother says supramental light and force, that transitory glow of magic fire. So now dissolved in bright, accustomed air. Bright, accustomed, dissolved in bright, accustomed air, dissolved in bright, accustomed air. In her own world of light and illumination, she went back. She has disappeared, she has vanished in her world of light. He is kind of tracing the entire sequence of the ambassador of that vision going back to her place. She will go back and report to the Supreme, look, this is the condition. Now things are like this. You have to go and step into the mortal world. You see. The message ceased and waned, the messenger. So whatever she had to do, whatever message of the Supreme she had brought along with her, that she had delivered. And now she has gone back. Gone back to report to the Supreme, well, this is the condition. And now it is imperative that you will step into the mortal world as an avatar, you see. It is the preparation of the coming of the avatar. The message ceased and waned, the messenger. Message ceased, message for this world, for this earth. Whatever could be received, the awakening ray had come, something was done, kindled, and she has gone back now. The single call, the uncompanioned power, drew back into some far off secret world. The hue and marvel of the supernal being. She looked no more on our mortality. She looked no more on our mortality. Well, she is not an emotional person. She is a very pragmatic person. She has to go back because things have to move forward. We are seeing that she is not looking at our mortality. In fact, her looking at our mortality may not really achieve what has to be achieved. It is not by looking in our mortality that things can be achieved. It is only by stepping into mortality that things can be changed of mortality. So she is really doing a favor to us, that she is not looking at us, you see. She is not looking at us, you see. It is a kind of a greater indication of something more marvelous, something more miraculous, something brighter that is going to happen. The excess of beauty, well, that is what she is, excess of beauty to us, not for her, not for the place where she lives, you see. Excess of beauty to us, to the earth, to the human, to the mortal. The excess of beauty, natural to God kind, could not uphold its claim on time-born eyes. Too mystic real for space tenancy. Her body of glory was expunged from heaven. The rarity and wonder lived no more. See, these are all the same thing. Excess of beauty. She is beauty. She is rarity and wonder. She is the body of glory. All are corresponding to her, the ambassadress, the vision who had come here, you see. Excess of beauty, natural to God kind, because she is the goddess, the divine goddess, the omniscient goddess, ambassadress, the omniscient goddess. She is the divine goddess. Could not uphold his claim on time-born eyes. But did she really want to put her claim on time-born eyes? I don't think that was the purpose. Her purpose was to deliver a message, to awaken, to kindle the flame of aspiration in the soul of the earth, to light a yajna for the arrival of the divine as an avatar, you see. That is the purpose. Could not uphold its claim on time-born eye. Too mystic real for space tenancy. Space is too small for her to come and dwell in it. Her body of glory was expunged from heaven. Now see, this is terrible in the sense that how the poet is using the possibilities of language to express many things. The excess of beauty in natural God kind could not uphold. It's an active voice. Too mystic real for penances. Her body of glory was expunged. Was expunged by whom? She is no more now in heaven, in our sky. She has gone back from her, she has withdrawn. But then, who expunged that glory from the sky? That passive voice, suddenly opens out many dimensions. Earlier, the excess of beauty in natural God kind could not uphold. It was okay, that's fine, all right. But here her body of glory was expunged from the sky. No? Tell me. You see, here of course heaven stands for sky, the terrestrial sky, in our sky, heaven. Heaven not the world of gods, but heaven is sky. You see. From the sky, because the dawn is there in the sky, and from the sky the dawn has gone back, you see, without kind of leaving the day behind, you see. Gone back. Now, one could read also, her body of glory was expunged from heaven by heaven.
By heaven?
Huh?
By heaven?
From heaven.
Why not by herself?
No, we cannot. We cannot.
She is a power also.
Huh?
She is a power.
Her body of glory was expunged from heaven by us. No, we can't. We are very small, feeble creatures.
No, by her, by herself.
By her, she won't expunge herself.
Why not?
You see, in fact, I am coming to that. First one way one could say this thing as her body was expunged from heaven by heaven. The poet would not elaborate in that manner. He is not writing a prose essay. So, was expunged by the sky says, okay, now you go back. You see, she has gone back. The other thing is the one who had sent her here. It is he who expunged her from heaven. You have gone there, you are doing your work, and it is he who says, okay, your job is done, and now come back, you see, was expunged from heaven. See, there has to be something very superhuman, something absolutely tremendous for her to be dislodged from the sky, you see. And that can happen only from above, you see. Yes, you have done your job, now you go back and things will happen further on. Her body of glory was expunged from heaven. You see, I had written here something. Rarity and wonder lived no more. Okay, that is she herself. Where she was living here as a tenant of space. Space tenancy. She was working here as a tenant, living here as a tenant in the house of space. So, she being spaceless, infinite, she cannot stay there for too long. She would find it too constraining. She came here, adjusted herself, so to say, for a while to deliver the message, to prepare the necessary ground, to cast the seed of the future. She has done. And therefore, the space now, unable to hold her on, says, okay, she has to go back. Space herself expands. That is one way of thinking. If she is a tenant here, then, or space, then it could be time. Time-born I. It is time who is expelling her from this house she is occupying as a tenant. She has come here, she has done her job. Now it is time for her to go back and do something else. Time-born, well, otherwise a time and space, you see, they have to be linked up in a manner, in a certain sense, you see.
Who is this she we are speaking?
She?
Who is this she?
This is what we have been describing now, the vision, the ambassadress who brought the message.
No, okay.
And she was living here for a while as a tenant.
Okay, but according to this
Yes,
chapter,
yes.
the first line before she, it was like this: only a little the God light can stay.
Yes.
And he started to speak spiritual beauty. It means the she we are speaking, this is the God light.
Yeah.
It's the spiritual beauty.
Yeah.
It is the divine light.
Yeah.
No? We are speaking of she. The she is the
She
divine light.
is here all along. She is starting from that divine goddess, omniscient goddess, the ambassadress. Ambassadress. You can call her Dawn also. All these are, see, who has cast this seed, who who brought the message, the ambassador. She is coming here as an ambassadress.
She.
Huh.
Who is the she?
She is that ambassadress herself, the divine God, the omniscient goddess, the omniscient goddess.
Yeah. That's why I said by herself she can go from here.
No, she was,
Doesn't need anybody.
no, that would not, she herself would go, but then she is thrown away, unwanted, she has to go back. She is not going of her own. See, her body was expunged, but not by herself, but by somebody else. The passive voice means that. And here I would say, in the immediate context, it is a time. The previous sentence, claim could not uphold its claim on time-born eyes. In the vision of eye, in the sight of eye, it could not stay for too long here, and therefore she has to go back. It was expunged from space, you see. How does he say in French?
Which one?
Huh?
Time born?
Yeah.
He said the temporal eye.
Yeah, well, I mean, literally, he's translating it literally.
Yeah,
Time born is
Eyes.
translated by eyes, it's eyes. But time born is translated by temporal.
Right?
Temporal. Temporal is like adjective coming from the time.
Claim on, no, but it is claim on time-born eyes. Claim on time-born eyes, ours.
Yes.
Yes, it is ours.
Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah. So it is time actually which in the context, you see, in the context of the space, I will link up this thing with time. Two mystic real for space tenancy. Well, her body of glory was see, I mean, this is the most beautiful thing the poet has done here by putting it in a passive voice. Was expunged. He doesn't say who expunged her out. That is the power of poetry, you see. From heaven, the rarity and wonder lived no more. The excellence, rarity and wonder, excellence. Well, that cannot stand here too long, you see. She has to go back. There was the common light of earthly day. When she has gone back, then what we have here? Common light. tube lights, flickering lights, you see, common light of earthly day. Now, I am giving a little background about this common earthly day. You see, she came, she wanted to stay, but she withdrew because things were not ready enough for her stay. If only there was receptivity, she went back and there was only the light of the common day all around. The glory had passed and all looked small and trivial and commonplace. All that was apparelled in light was no more in light. Now this is a reference directly to Wordsworth. To Wordsworth, at one time, everything seemed apparelled in celestial light. As a young man, he used to visit a lake, a certain place, and the vision was very beautiful and that kind of a thing. In his intimations to immortality, he writes that wherever he went, he found the glory that once had been the earth's and had now passed away. True, the rainbow comes and goes, and the moon does look around with delight, and the sunshine is a glorious birth, but something is amiss, inappropriate, and there is grief in the heart of the world. However, there is a sense of relief also, and all the earth and the land and sea are happy. Now, these are the lines from Wordsworth's poem. The cataracts blow the trumpets from the stream, no more shall grief of mine the season wrong. I hear the echoes through the mountains throng. The winds come to me from the fields of sleep. She happened to call these lines as one of the most beautiful passages in the English poetry. Pure overhead poetry, absolutely. The winds come to me from the fields of sleep. Too mystic, too overhead, too deep. The winds come to me from the fields of sleep. He's seeing that. But there's a time of many one, a single field which I had looked upon. Both of them speak of something that is gone. The fancy at my feet doth the same tale repeat. Whither is fled the visionary gleam? Whither is fled the visionary gleam? See, where is it now, the glory and the dream? Our birth is but a sleep and a forgetting. The soul that rises with us, our life's star, hath had its celestial setting and cometh from afar. Now this is the crossing the sill of birth. The soul coming from the sill of birth, you see. Not in entire forgetfulness and not in utter nakedness, but trailing clouds of glory do we come. From God, who is our home, heaven lies about us in our infancy. But that infancy is no more there now, you see what it is. She saw the prison house begin to close upon the glowing boy, as he grows as a boy, from infancy to boyhood, but he beholds the light, and whence it flows, he sees it in his joy. The youth, who daily farther from the aim, must travel still his nature's praise, and with a vision splendid, is on his way attended. At length, the man perceives it die away and fade him into the light of common day. The vision, splendid. At length, the man perceives it die away. It is disappearing, going away, die away, and fade into the light of common day. So, this is a literal transcription of this line in Savitri, what we have got here, you see. A perfect echo of this line in the description of Savitri. The vision has come, he stood on life's thin border, it delivered the message, all that thing happened, etc., etc., and now has gone back. And what is left behind? The common day, the mortal's day, the lot of the mortal, what is described here. Sri Aurobindo was a professor of poetry, and he knew the English poetry through and through everywhere. Actually, in this section, we have got two important allusions to the English poetry in the first section itself, in these few lines, what we are doing now here. The first allusion we have already seen across the path to the divine event. The divine event is a phrase from Tennyson's poem, Memoriam, in Memoriam. The divine, his friend has passed away, and the divine event is going to take place. So that phrase is literally from Tennyson. Of course, the connotations are different, but the phrase as such is from Tennyson. And this is the second one, from Wordsworth, you see. The common light of the day, you see. So, as a professor of poetry, Sri Aurobindo remembers all these things, and he brings all those associations and descriptions in the tale of Savitri also, you see. That is what Savitri becomes rich, you see. There was the common light of earthly day, you see. Exactly the same line, common. Of course, Sri Aurobindo has put earthly day. There was the common light, you see. But the description, the vision was there, that beauty was there, but it is no more there now. The winds come to me from the fields of sleep, from Sushupti, from the causal world. The messages are coming to me, but now I don't hear anything at all. And there is only the common light of the day, you see. It's exactly kind of a parallel description here you got. There was the common light of earthly day, you see. Yes.
If he put Sri Aurobindo this line like this alone, it means a very, very important line.
Yes.
Can we understand that at that moment when the divine light left, it kept the earthly light days, and I mean it was the beginning of the light of the earthly day? Was it the beginning of this earthly light? Can we say like this? Why he put it alone like this? There was the common light of earthly day. Like if
earthly light is that half ignorance, half-lit ignorance. That is the half-lit ignorance. Half-lit ignorance. That is the common light which you got. The vision was there. It was a revelatory vision. It was a mystic vision. It was a body of beauty. But now what is there? The toil and the suffering and the half-lit ignorance. That is what he described earlier.
Yeah, but why he put it alone like this line? What's the
now, because he is preparing for the next step. The poetry is moving forward. She has gone back because she came here, when she was standing on the thin border of life, all was beautiful, glorious, etc. The moment she goes back, what do I got here? The light is no more. There is only the common light of our fluorescent tubes, not the candle fire. In other words, this is the necessary step for things to move forward. She had done her job, and there is only common. It is, if anything has to happen now, it has to happen in this common condition. The way in which our mortality is, it is innate, things have to happen now. If something has to happen. There was, it means that there will not be afterwards. In fact, he is kind of systematically developing the theme as an essay, you see, a poetic essay. You see. There was the common light of earthly day, affranchised from the respite of fatigue. Now, this is a very complex phrase, a respite of fatigue. Yes. You are free from the respite of fatigue. Aphrodites, free from the despite of fatigue. See, you work hard, you toil, you get exhausted, you get consumed, so to say, and then you suddenly fall asleep. That is the respite. So the fatigue brings you that respite. Now you are free of that kind of fatigue. You have been doing things over and over again through cycles and cycles of creation. Through the ages, things are happening. Now a stop has come. You are free now from that fatigue and things have to move forward, you see. That is how he is preparing. Aphrodites from the respite of fatigue. It's a very complex construction. Respite of fatigue means the fatigue brings you a respite, but you are free now from that kind of respite. Once more, the rumor of speed of life. You see, again, that once more we have seen earlier. You see, speed of life pursued the cycles of her blinded. Her for life. Her here is for life. Now, cycles, he says, that is important. It means that yuga after yuga, ages after ages, eons after eons, this has been happening. And it is going to repeat now. And it has been what? Life's blinded quest. Life does not see where it is moving, what is going to happen. It has no idea at all of that kind of a thing. Life has no idea. Pursuit. She is in pursuit of something. Her quest is there, a blind quest is there, and it has been going on through the cycles of time all along. Aphrodites from the respite of fatigue. Once more, the rumor of speed of life. Rumor, the sound, the noise, the movement, you see. Or the speed of life. You see, it's the speed of life. So it is rather becoming now fast, moving forward. Fast, you see. Pursue the cycles of her blinded quest, you see. All sprang to their unvarying daily acts. All sprang to their unveiling daily acts. The 1,000 people to the soil and tree obeyed the unforeseen instant's urge, and leader here with his uncertain mind, alone who stares at the future's covered face, man lifted up the burden of his fate. That is what now in the cycles of life is going to happen. Man has lifted the burden of his fate. We have seen the bodybuilder carrying the whole load on his shoulders, you see. All sprang to their unvarying daily act. Unvarying daily act. Get up in the morning, do your routine things, go to the field, go to the factory, go to the office, whatever it is. Carry on your work constantly. 1,000 people to the soil and tree. 1,000 people to the soil and tree. You see, he is very particular about this description. Peoples of the soil and tree. Tree, birds, animals, the vital life, insects, all kind of creatures. 1,000 peoples of birds. Now, of course, he didn't get space enough to say here 1,000 peoples of the soil and tree and water, but it is assumed. Tree and water, you see. The 1,000 people to the soil and tree obeyed. Then, see, this is what happens. The animal life goes on routinely. The bird life goes on routinely. The ants carry on their daily work routinely manner. Obey the unforeseen instance urge and leader here. And of these peoples, man is the leader. Means it is a transition from the vital man to the mental man. That is what is going to happen here. In fact, it's a very important statement here. Burden of his fate. Soil and tree. Animals and birds. That is what it represents. You see the beauty. Soil and tree. Both of them are singular. It doesn't say soils and trees. The poetry, you see, is richer. It is characteristic of these things, you see. It is not trees, all kinds of birds and all. It is prescribed in a different manner. Now, this phrase, soil and tree, occurs at 101.8, the destined meeting place, where Savitri and Satyavan are going to meet in the Shalva woods. And the description is about that place. And what we have here? Peacock and parrot dwelled, soil and tree. Exactly the same phrase. Soil and tree. Peacock and parrot dwelled, soil and tree. In fact, let us read those two sentences, earlier one also. A sigh was straying among happy leaves, cool perfumed with slow, pleasure-burdened feet. Faint stumbling breeze fainted among flowers. The white crane stood, a vivid motionless tree. Peacock and parrot dwelled, soil and tree. The dove's soft moan enriched the enamored air, and far-winged wild drakes swam in silvery pools. These are the peoples of the place, you see. It is in this stage, under this condition, we have got Savitri. Earth crouched alone with her great lower heaven, uncovered to her consort purple eye. And then further on, a cry and leap and hurry were around. A cry and leap and hurry, again singular, were around. The stealthy footfalls of a chasing thing, the shaggy emerald of a centaur maid, the gold and sapphire of her warmth and blaze. And then about man and the icon of Shiva in the mountains there, you see. So this is the place where Savitri is going to be. The preface is perfect here, and you have got a parallel description here in this meeting place, in this canto of this one, you see, soil and tree. The 1,000 people of the soil, exactly the same phrase he has used there, you see. Obeyed the unforeseen instance earth. And leader here. Now among these people, among these animals, among these birds, who is the leader? Man is the leader here. And he is lifting up. These people, 1,000 people, they cannot really bear the burden of the future at all. They are not capable at all, you see. It's the transition. So in other words, the avatarhood of Savitri, the arrival of Savitri, is directly in the context of the arrival of man on the evolutionary scene. And it starts with that, you see. And leader here with uncertain mind, alone who stares at a future's covered fame, man lifted up the burden of his fate. We'll see the next sentence also, because they are linked up, because there is that and. It means that we can't disconnect this line from the previous description. And Savitri too awoke among these tribes. For our purpose, to link up with the previous, this line is enough. That hasten to join the brilliant summer's chant, that is another story now. But to link up with the previous one, this line is enough. And Savitri too awoke among these tribes. See, if Savitri has to come, if she has to take the mortal birth, naturally the divine goddess, the omniscient goddess, has to go back. Because only by entering into mortality, that mortality can be changed. Not from above, but from within, the transformative action has to occur, has to take place, you see. And Savitri too awoke. Now here, you got the tribes. Among these tribes, the 1,000 peoples of the soil and tree, among these tribes, Savitri too awoke. So this is a very clear-cut indication that the actual visible action of Savitri is taking place with the arrival of man on the evolutionary scene. She has been there right from the beginning of the earth, since the beginning of the earth, whenever and wherever Mother has said that thing, I was present there. She has been there. But she is awaking. The word awake is important. She is not born. She is awake to the reality of her work, of her mission. Awake is more important. Now, it is in this context, among these tribes and these 1,000 peoples of the soil and tree, we must see, well, as I told you earlier, this avatarhood of Rama occurs in this transition from Satya Yuga to Treta Yuga. That is the transition corresponding to the avatarhood Rama. Now, the mother has a very beautiful description of Rama as a child. Kausalya's son. Rama's mother was Kausalya. Kausalya's son Rama. She said that once she saw him, her child, the baby, his hair shining like thousands of stars. Thousands of stars. The mountains and rivers flowing through him. The entire universe is present in him. She saw that vision in him, Kausalya, his mother, the divine vision, the supreme vision herself. And that is the most important. Mother herself has described that in great detail, how Kausalya saw the avatarhood Rama with thousands of suns and stars in his body present there. And the rivers and mountains and animals all moving in him throughout the entire universe was present there. Now it is this transition, at this transition, that Savitri is arriving on this scene. The avatarhood of Rama is, in that sense, is very important. I mean, people don't know, they keep on quarreling, fighting and all kind of things are happening, Ram Mandir, but there is a reality behind the whole thing. It is prehistoric in a certain sense. You don't have written records of that thing. But the tradition is not wrong also. Tradition has a certain merit. And not only tradition, people who have occult perceptions, yogis who have occult perceptions, they will feel the presence of that avatarhood even now at that place. So it is not for nothing there. They will feel his presence there even now. Those who have that occult perception, you see. You go to great yogis places, his samadhi is there, and you feel a different kind of a vibration immediately there, that there is something different here. In the same manner, the presence of the avatar can be perceived, felt by them who have the occult senses awakened in them, you see. People don't understand, but we are living in a rational age and therefore create all kind of problems and troubles, you see. It's a different matter, yeah.
Shabindu said Jesus Christ was also an avatar.
Also, yes.
He doesn't figure there.
Huh?
He doesn't figure.
No, it doesn't figure in this one. Now, this is the traditional Indian avatar story of avatars. This was sort of given long before the arrival of Christ. Long before Kali Yuga is here, you see. Long before the arrival of Christ. But Shivananda says very distinctly, very clearly, he talks of Krishna, Christ and Buddha. In the essays on the Gita, he talks of these three avatars, Krishna, Christ and Buddha.
So there should be actually next three avatars. Yeah. And because they say it will happen, now it has happened.
Yeah.
Kalki has happened.
This list was prepared, was given by pursuit, by experience, by the yogis much before the birth of Christ. And I think there is a little difference also in the sense that in a way, the avatarhood of Christ is of a secondary nature, not of a primary nature. See, Rama, Krishna, Shivandu, in a way, they are direct emanations from the Supreme. Full emanation, full powers and capacities, you see, in the life. Christ's avatarhood, in that sense, is sort of limited avatarhood, not full avatarhood, you see. That is why, what was his purpose? To humanize Europe. To humanize Europe. That was the mission of Christ, his avatarhood. To humanize Europe. That is done. But this is something much more than that. It is an evolutionary step to bring down the mental being, to bring down the overhead, or the overmind, to bring down the supermind. These are of a different kind of thing, you see. Yeah.
What about the duration of the What about the duration of the yuga? Is it?
Yeah, well, that is what they have given. We don't know how they have calculated and all that thing, but this is what. See, here Kali Yuga has a span of so many years. Twice of that is Dwapara. Twice of Kali Yuga is Trita. 4 times of Kali Yuga is Krita or Satya Yuga.
But that means you have Kali Yuga and then Satya Yuga, and then again Kali Yuga,
Yes,
Satya Yuga,
yes,
again
cycle.
Kali Yuga.
Yeah. This is in a certain kalpa. See, in a certain kalpa, these are the divisions of the yugas.
But this is basically a whole cycle. This is 3 cycles.
Yes. Actually, we will be seeing that thing shortly, what Shivandu has put in the report. So, in Kali Yuga, sorry, in Krita or Satya Yuga, you got 4 avatars. And the duration of is 4 times Kali Yuga. In Treta, you have got 3 avatars. The duration of Treta is 3 times Kali Yuga. Dwapara, 2 avatars. In fact, this is what we have. This is what we should be seeing. The evolutionary scale as given by Shivandu in a record of yoga. And that is a record of yoga, evolutionary scale. This is very important and it is very pertinent to what we are doing at the moment. I will not, in fact, I have already sent this message, but let me not go through the whole thing again here. Now he says, the present earth in its turn appears as the scene of life. We have already seen that. Mass being its last theatre. So in the present creation, earth is the scene of evolution. The psychic being is earth. And that is what earth becomes significant. That is why it becomes. Earth has the psychic being, so it becomes the significant center of the evolutionary progress. Earth. In the Bhumi, Agni Tvashta is again the first principle, Matareshwan the second, etc. etc. Earth has 7 planes of being, the material of which the scenes and events are alone normally visible to material sense. The vital of which man's prana kosha is built and in which is responsive. The mental to which is manakosha is attached. The ideal governing the vijnana kosha, that is supermind, vijnana kosha. The beatific, that is the bliss, ananda, which supports the ananda kosha. And the dynamic and essential, these are beyond those 5 koshas. The dynamic kosha has not yet been formed. The essential kosha has not yet been formed. So if a divine body has to be produced, created, established here, then the dynamic and essential kosha should also come into play, to which he has not yet developed corresponding koshas. And that is what is going to happen when the divine body is being built, you see. But only unformed nimbuses of concrete being. All the gods throw out their lingarupas into these worlds of earth and through them carry on their affairs. So the gods are her affairs of the earth. Means the gods are doing their work. So they are projections here in this world. Man is a son of the Manu and is assigned his place in Diva and Pradiva, in heaven and in Swargabhumi. Then he descends to earth and hither from earth he returns. When the human body is ready, he comes here from that particular occult plane, he comes here, descends, does his work and goes back there. When man, don't say physical man, now he is the Manu, the Manomaya Purusha. When the human body is ready, then he descends upon earth and occupies it. When the human body is ready, earth has to prepare the human body, evolution has to prepare the body for man. Not only earth and evolution, Prakriti, but also the gods have to prepare the human body. So that is the work, the immortal work which they do is that kind of a work. The 7 chakras which are formed here, they were built in the course of long evolutionary history by these gods, by the evolutionary power and all that thing. And then his manifestation in animal form is always a partial incarnation. The animal proper is a lower type. Certain devas and manasas, etc., etc., they are in places. Well, let's move on further. Well, when all that preparation is there, then only man appears. How does man appear? Prajapati manifests as Vishnu, Upendra. Incarnation, the animal or Pashu, in whom the 4 Manus are already manifested themselves. And the first human creature who appears is in this kalpa, in the present cycle of creation, the Vanara, what we call the monkey or the ape. Not the animal ape, but man with the ape nature. Man with the ape nature. His Satya Yuga is the first paradise. So, see, that is what the Manomaya Purusha, the gods are doing in the occult world to prepare the body for the arrival of man. And it is these Vanaras, these people among whom these tribes. See, Vanara is again very pertinent to the story of Rama. As I told you, Rama's story last time, no? It is very pertinent. See, Jambavanta, Vibhishana, Vanara, they are all animal creatures who had advanced, animal not in the sense of animal, but animal-like, you see, who had advanced to a certain stage that they could help the avatar to do his work in this creation he received. So when you say Hanuman and all that, they were really different types of animal. The mental being, the vital capacities had grown in the animal to such an extent that they could become mentalized. Yeah. Man begins with the Satya Yuga. So this is what I was telling you. This is transition. When Savitri awakes, it is at this point with the perfected type, not a rudimentary type. The animal forms a perfect type for the human Pashu, and then etc. Well, there are many things like that. These are man's beginnings. He rises by the descent of ever higher types of Manu in the occult world. From the Bhuvara Loka, the world of life, of prana. From there he rises. First he is Pashu, then Pishacha, Pramatha, Rakshasa, Asura, Deva, and then Siddha. That is how man climbs up the state of consciousness. He ascends the ladder of his own being towards Sat Purusha. Now it is among these tribes, you see, that phrase is important. These are the tribes on which man has arrived, and Savitri awakes among these tribes when man instead of the burden.
I have a question.
Yes.
In the former paragraph which we had just read, man rises through all these worlds, Deva, Asura, and so on.
Yes, in fact, that is what they were doing. All these four avatars, particularly these three avatars, Vamana, he dealt directly with the Asuras. Parashurama, he removed all the vital atrocities which were being committed here by the Kshatriya. 21 times he destroyed the Kshatriya races on earth. Means it has become so vital that they had to remove away. Means the powers of the vital had to be subdued, and for that the avatarhood was necessary. When that was prepared, when the ground was ready, then the Manasaputra, Rama, as the mental being, avatar of mind, he arrives on the scene, you see. Means the Bhumi is clear for him to come to this point, you see.
But it says that we are rising through all these different stages to the suffering.
That happens in the occult.
Not in real.
No, then it will transfer, you see. See, the details I don't know. I can't say also that, you see.
It says that we are rising Devas, Asuras. Does it mean that all men...
No, see, these are the types are available. Now it is for each individual. The ladder, so to say, is built for the individual. It is for the individual to climb it or not.
Okay, but do we have to all pass through the stages of...
Not necessarily. And perhaps we have already passed through them.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
We have already passed through them.
Already been there,
yeah.
And now we had enough and came out. So
now you see, this must have happened.
The first man.
This was during the avatarhood of Rama. Now, yogas have gone behind, so the whole evolution, we have gone through the whole cycle now. We have gone through the whole cycle. Everybody, yeah. We have come to this point.
We have all been under
yes,
the
we have gone through all the cycles.
In such a stage, we have
yes.
been.
Yes. Because of him.
As a special. Special, the human special, but it doesn't mean now.
Therefore, man lifted the burden of his fate, man standing for these tribes. These tribes which are described here in the course of evolution, it is at this point man has arrived on the scene, and the moment man is now capable of looking up into the sky, then the real work Savitri begins. In other words, Savitri's work had really started with the arrival of Rama as avatar. Silently, quietly, in the occult world, her work has been going on along, you see. And Savitri too, well, man has lifted and therefore Savitri has awoken. Too, awoke among these tribes. Man lifted her, now she is ready, you see. Man has awoken, Savitri too awoke. So the link of Savitri is coming with man is important. In other words, historically, if you have to ask the question, when did really Savitri's work begin? When man arrived on the scene. Savitri's work began with the arrival of man. That is what it would indicate, you see. Among these tribes, he says tribes, you see. All these Vanaras, all these Asuras, Pishachas, etc., do advance this point. You see, these 1,000 people to the soil and tree, you see. They're all linked up, you see, connected. 1,000 people to the soil and tree.
In this context, Pishacha, Rakshasa, Asura, doesn't mean the same than the...
No, now Asuras have been subdued. In fact, the avatarhood of Rama was in the context of the biggest Asura, Ravana. And the fact that he chose the path of enmity, Ravana, enmity, to become the enemy of the divine. He chose the path of becoming the enemy of the divine, so that dissolving yourself into the avatar, into the infinite, into the supreme, that thing has gone away from this creation. So that's a great thing which he has done in a way.
He chose
He has dissolved himself into Rama, into the Supreme. So the Asuric power which was there is no more now present here. So that's a great contribution, you see. Otherwise that would have been standing on the path, in the way. Asuric power. His tapasya, his yoga, his work was to be the enemy of the divine, that being the quickest method of dissolving yourself, merging yourself into the Supreme.
But then he cannot have a systematic life of earth.
We don't know what would have been much more than what is now had he been there. Now mother says, the mother's story says, now the Asura who is really coming in the way is the Lord of Nations, the mother says, you see. She has to deal with him. But now she has found another way. Mother has found another way. She has established the supramental light and force in the earth consciousness. And that will work. It will take time. It will take time. Now, the next step, the way the mental being arrived, all these yugas, manos and all that thing, they were creating, these gods were creating centers in the body here for man to arrive on the scene and do his work, the chakras which are there. Now, if the next step has to happen, apart from the 7 chakras, there have to be 5 more chakras to be established. There will be in all 12 chakras in the body, and then the new body will be really formed. Now it is that occult work which is being done in the occult by the mother. They are not there sitting quietly, they are prepared. The way the gods have helped to create these things, the same way these avatars are there and they are preparing the ground for the next step, you see. Only if we are open, we are kind of conscious of these things and lend ourselves to it, they will move faster. But their work is not going to stop. Whether we like it or not, whether we help them or not, whether we offer ourselves to them or not, you see. The work is not going to stop. That is inevitable in the course of evolution and it has to happen. It does not depend upon us. So that's a great thing. So this is the story of man's arrival and Savitri is getting awakened. And now from this point onward, the real story of Savitri begins. So this first section is describing us all these events. First section, 46 sentences, 185 lines. 185 lines are describing the entire history. The entire history starting from involution, the creation of the earth as the center and moving forward and then all those things. We will kind of summarize this thing next time again to recapitulate all the sequences.